Emmanuel Hostin, the husband of the View host Sonny Hostin, has been accused of widespread insurance fraud, and Sonny basically admitted to it on camera. Let's talk about it.
Like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. So that makes Sonny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all.
A subpoena might be used to serve the irony of Sonny Hostin's husband's involvement in a $450 million fraud case. Greg Gutfeld and Kat Timpf are relishing this incident and are roasting Sonny more than a Thanksgiving turkey. The quips might sever those alleged offshore accounts because they are so sharp.
Ah, you look tantalizing. You know, I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Because COVID also taught Sonny Hostin how to get her groceries delivered.
3 years, that's when I discovered Instacart, and I give them a big tip because they don't always pay their people well, and it's so that's been an issue, I think, for the company. But man, you can get toiletries, you can get fire logs.
Fire logs? She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable.
Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sonny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases.
That morning, Sonny Hostin, who takes great satisfaction in being America's moral compass, probably got up ready to deliver another ecstatic sermon on The View. But while she was busy placing blame on everyone else's morals, Karma was making headlines that hit like a gavel. It turns out that her husband is currently battling a fraud case that makes Bernie Madoff look like he was running a lemonade company.
I want to hit myself in the face so I can feel something. You know, it's like so boring. He's like, yeah, I like Instacart, but don't worry, I tip the poors. But, you know, Joy, you actually don't like Instacart, and you do like the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store, what I do want, what I don't want. Maybe I want tuna fish, and I just want to hit.
Greg and Kat, as expected, got straight to the point. For them, this was not just another segment. It was a 5-course meal of hypocrisy, with a side dish of self-gratification. Kat Timpf laughed as though he had been collecting receipts for years, while Gutfeld licked his fingers after every punchline.
It's about The View. It's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. You know, how can you now speak the truth when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie? Now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much. We were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but at least you're honest scum.
Let's be honest. If hypocrisy were a luxury brand, Sonny Hostin would be the top salesperson at The View's main store. For years, she has delivered lectures on ethics and morality with a hint of snobbish disdain. But a sequence from The Wolf of Wall Street that was cut now includes a household. How about Kat Timpf? She's practically pleased as she sees Sonny's painstakingly created halo disintegrate beneath the harsh spotlight of public scrutiny.
The witch is coming. Finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
Said that Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he?
Really, who is he? I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the
Never
show.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
Next, Joy's gonna say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch at Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar's mood.
The whole situation developed like a poorly written drama with Range Rover-sized narrative holes. Sunny was even given a pitch by Gutfeld for a new show called Allegedly Yours, in which she avoids subpoenas and offers scathing comments from the moral high ground. In her deadpan manner, Kat suggested financial crimes and finger-wagging, a guide to having it both ways, complete with courtroom theatrics and brunch gossip.
All right, Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was. They're like, well, the cicadas, they're cicadas. Okay, but it was like every 100 years. No, it's every 17 years. Do you know how many Emmys this show has? 31.
31 Emmys?
This show has 31. I mean, I'd hate to see the conversations that don't make headlines.
Greg strutted through the turmoil like a smug cat who just knocked over an expensive vase and blamed the dog. He mentioned in passing that Sunny's moral standing was deteriorating faster than panelists on The View trying to explain economics without cue cards. Kat Timpf smiled as she watched the entire farce unfold, as if she were watching the end of her favorite reality TV show. The phony houseplants were suing for slander this time, and that was the only difference.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
Ever one to be outdone, Gutfeld suggested that Sunny add a revolving game show wheel with themes like fraud privilege and selective outrage spin to her next appearance. In an attempt to keep the $450 million elephant off camera, producers backstage urgently hissed into earpieces. Quick, bring up Meghan Markle.
No, I'm also not surprised that there's one part of the video from the show yesterday that you left out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we roll that, please.
I don't watch the show that much, but I've seen it.
Who is that? Who is that?
Greg Gutfeld's one of the hosts of The Five who, if I don't have anything nice to say, I generally don't say anything at all. I would just say that the show should be called Kat Timpf, not Gutfeld, because she's the funny one on it.
Somebody's flirting with little Kat over here.
Well, she's the Republican one at the table, but I just think as a libertarian, I'm always looking to find common ground with other people because nobody really shares my politics. So I find some common ground at The View where she thinks I'm funny and I agree.
At this point, The View is less of a conversation show and more of a sanctimony factory where self-righteousness is mass-produced and accountability is sent to an unknown location. Gutfeld and Kat pushed the snark up to full blast, piercing The View's hypocrisy like a wrecking ball through a glass house.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses. Regardless of skin color, people marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist.
The best feature? The extent of the alleged scam. This wasn't a parking ticket or an incorrect tax return. We are talking about numbers that make Wall Street CEOs shiver. And Kat Timpf didn't miss the chance to point out the irony. If The View had been a Republican involved in such a scandal, it would have given it a week-long ethical lecture. However, when it's one of their own, crickets.
You know who just stunk up The View. The Biden joined The View this morning for the entire hour. The audience was caught off guard, but knew something was up when they saw a dozen Secret Service agents and 2 embalmers. There were a few awkward moments, though, when a confused Joe asked if he could bid on the showcase. But was he surprised, Kamala?
Gutfeld roasted Sonny and turned the heat up to well done. He suggested a statewide popcorn fund for Sonny's legal defense instead of a GoFundMe because he believes that this story has the potential to be a box office blockbuster and that the American audience deserves some snacks while they watch the sanctimony ship go down.
Easy. Oh. That's not what I read. The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word sun in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years. They're turning on me. So that makes Sonny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by the View's gravitational pull.
As a final straw, Gutfeld imagined how swiftly he and Kat would be dismissed if they had any connection whatsoever to a $450 million fraud case. He was joking. We'd be out of here before Joy Behar could roll her eyes.
Kat, how many co-hosts has The View had since it first started? I've lost count. I don't know any of these people.
No, that's because they don't stick around long enough. There have been 17 since 1997. That's a lot. That's because they're women.
Oh, really?
They're hormones. They're changing their minds. I don't want to work here. Yes, I do. That's why. Women are always changing jobs every day.
Wow,
I just quit.
Direct mail to Catherine Timpf. Not me. I disavow everything she said.
Ultimately, like a couple of sardonic tornadoes, Gutfeld and Kat Timpf continued the roast, circling The View. While Sonny's legal team is probably practicing yoga to stay calm, the rest of us are just here for the humor. The real lesson, not only the scandal, is the glaring irony of a media environment that preaches morality, but veers drastically to the left on Accountability Boulevard. And because of Greg and Kat, this incident was recently recorded on the Hall of Hypocrisy under the bold, blinking headline, Karma's Courtroom.